Bonjour. This week we'll be talking about the information in Structure 1-4, describing people, les pronoms sujets avec le verbe être. We actually have two important topics in this section of our chapter. The first is the subject pronoun. First of all, what is a subject pronoun? Well, it's a word that lets you talk about people or things without repeating their names. For example, est-ce que Chantal est jolie? Is Chantal pretty? Oui, elle est très jolie. Here, I have the subject pronoun elle. What does that refer to? Exactly. I'm talking about Chantal. Instead of having to say, Chantal is very pretty, yes, Chantal is this, Chantal is that, I can say elle, she. Similarly, I can do that with he, or other things, they, we, etc. C'est Jean-Yves. Il est de Montréal. Here is, or it's, Jean-Yves. He is from Montréal. If I don't want to repeat Jean-Yves' name over and over and over because it's a little bit hard to say, I can use il instead. So here are the subject pronouns. Je means I. Tu, we've already talked about. That's the informal you. That's the one we use with people we're on a first name basis with, people who are younger than us like children, family members, animals, and so on. Il means he. This can also refer to masculine things like le professeur or un tableau or un livre. So it can mean he, but it can also mean it when you're talking about masculine things. Elle means she. Similarly, elle can also refer to feminine things. If I'm talking about une fenêtre and I want to say it is dirty, I can say elle est sale. On really means one, but in France, most people use the word on to mean we. Like one eats pasta at an Italian restaurant. You might actually say in English, we eat pasta at an Italian restaurant. But the French would use on for that. Over here on the second column, I have all the plurals. The plural of je, I, is nous, we. So, you can see that they line up. Je is singular, nous is plural. You already know the plural here. Vous is plural and or formal. Remember, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I use vous to refer not only to a group of people, you guys, but also to people I don't know well, people who are social superiors, people who are older than me, people with whom I'm not on a first name basis. The plural of il is il, and yes, they do sound exactly the same. And the plural of elle is elle. Again, they sound exactly the same. Just like the singular, if I want to talk about the books and I want to say they are on the table, I would use il because the books are masculine. If I want to talk about the windows and I want to say they are dirty, I would use elle because windows are feminine. The other important point here is that we're going to use these subject pronouns a lot with verbs. And the first verb we're learning is être, to be. From the famous Shakespeare, to be or not to be. You don't think of être or to be as being a verb, but it is. To be is an action. Now, we need to change the verb with the subject pronoun. You don't say I to be, and you don't say I is. Or if you do say that, you're not saying it properly. So we need to learn how to conjugate the verb so that I'm not saying I is or I are, but instead I am. In French, the way we do this is here in this chart. Je suis, I am. Tu es, you are. Il, elle, or on, they're all the same, est. He, she, or one is. Nous sommes, we are. Vous êtes, you are. And ils or elles sont, they are. Let's look at some examples. Je suis content. I am happy. Il est content. He is happy. Nous sommes contents. We are happy. And you can see here that just like in French, in English, you have to conjugate the verb. You have to make the verb match with the subject pronoun in French and in English. And the words and the spelling change each time. Let me give you an example with the word on, which means we or one. On est content. French people would say this to say we're happy. And the reason they do it, truthfully, is because it's easy and fast. It's much easier to say on est content than nous sommes contents. It's just shorter. Makes it easier. Less to think about. This is the end of this lesson. Again, you can always rewind, listen again, before you take the quiz, and then come to class. See you there.